Looks like they're both taking a mulligan at 6. And a mountain to start here for Chapin. Anderson will draw, play a forest. Looks like an Elvish Mystic, and it is. We'll pass the turn back. Sam will draw a copy of Eidolon of the Great Revel and deploy it, having to take 1 to do so.
But Callie's deck can easily play over the top of this. I mean, there's 4 copies of Courser Crufix to start with, and then there's just nothing but big stuff.
Caryatid will come in. Eidolon will trigger. Anderson going to go down to 18. We'll go back Chapin's way. And Eidolon is the draw. Nykthos will come down. So both of these strategies.
Oh, wow. We are going way back.
Yeah.
We are going way back with this. Some Perforos action.
Yeah, Hammer of Perforos in there. Yeah,
Fanatic of Mogus.
Yeah, we're a little devotion-y.
Okay.
See Elvish Mystic bite the dust to arc lightning. There's a Courser. Courser's on top of the deck. Land will come in, which means Anderson will gain a life. And just a passing to the turn. Sam will draw. You see the hand, Wingmate Rock, Windscarred Crag, Perforos, and Eidolon. Capable of doing some pretty powerful things. Having 2 Eidolons in play can be both good and bad.
And another rough part here, or a rough part here for Callie, is the fact that her deck can't really interact with the board very much. She's just trying to play over the top. And so something like Perforos at an achieved devotion is something that she kind of has to just work around. She can get to Ugin. I don't know if it's still left in her deck post-board. But her inability to kill things is not ideal for this matchup.
Courser was the draw step. Seeing the hand, Nylea's Disciple over there. Definitely some options available. There is Courser. So that's going to come in.
You can see the Nylea's Disciple in Callie's hand. She's just trying to set up a huge devotion swing.
Absolutely.
She's incurring some hits here. It's a little bit risky, but assuming Sam doesn't punish her too bad for it, Callie gets to untap and gain a ton of life.
Yeah. Sam will draw. Nykthos going to generate some mana here for Perforos. This is where things can get pretty ugly. Because Perforos is on right now, 5 devotion. Forest on top of the deck.
We've seen this before. When decks can't interact with the board, Perforos is a very dangerous card. The way that you've typically broken up red devotion strategies is just kill stuff.
Yep.
And most decks in Standard are really good at killing stuff, so that's part of the reason you don't see this deck anymore. Callie's deck, not quite the case.
And these decks are both trying to do kind of powerful things, and this isn't something we've really seen for a while, right? Devotion Mirrors, where it's kind of Nykthos related, it's been about a year.
Yeah, it has been quite a while. So this is a pretty good turn from Callie. Obviously, she gains some life. She blocks at the board a little bit, but Sam may just be able to power through this.
They come into the red zone, and Perforos has some interest in blocking. So that's going to eat 1 Courser. And it'll be a passing the turn. Sam going to draw now. And we'll see what he can put together on this turn. Now that he has Nykthos and a whole bunch of mana, Flamewake Phoenix as well, Fanatic of Mogus too. We might be playing a 3rd game here.
Yeah. I mean, things were shaping up very well for Callie early on here, but I do think that Perforos being online represents a significant problem.
And there's Fanatic. That's going to come in. It's going to be a big hit. 6 just for Devotion, then 2 from Perforos itself.
I feel like I'm in a time machine back to 14 months ago.
It really feels that way, right?
This is way different.
Here's a big attack. Some blocking to be done. Perforos gets to come through. But Nylea's Disciple will eat Eidolon.
Yeah, I think that Callie has to make this play and just hope that Sam cannot reestablish Devotion for Perforos. Because right now it's down to 4.
Yep. Elvish Mystic the draw. Take a look at the top card. A copy of Hornet's Nest.
Oh.
Well, fair enough. That'll slow Perforos down.
The plot thickens.
going to pass the turn back, it seems. Sam will draw. Hammer of Perforos.
So reestablishing Devotion is not going to be a challenge here.
Nah, not at all. Nykthos is going to be +1 mana right now. And it's time for the Phoenix. Going upstairs. Eidolon deal a little bit of damage. Flame Phoenix card I like quite a bit. Didn't see a lot of it today.
I think it's got some serious legs in a variety of strategies. I mean, mono red beatdown, Devotion, decks that care about trying to, play with 4-power stuff and use this to weather the storm of removal. I mean, I think this card is good and versatile. Could go into a bunch of different decks.
Some blocking and some trading will be done. Perforos, of course, not going anywhere. 2 damage will come across. Anderson's going to go down to 6. Hornet Nest the draw. Wooded Foothills will come in. Trigger, gain a little bit of life. Take a look at the top card now. It's a copy of Frontier Siege. That is a very popular card this weekend.
Yeah, we've seen a ton of it. I mean, I thought we would see a little bit of it, but it's been all over the place. It was also really important last turn for Sam to have a flying creature. Because unless Sam had some workaround for the Hornet's Nest, I guess Perforos represents a workaround.
Yeah.
It does gum things up a little bit.
In kind of a roundabout way. And the problem is Eidolon's just causing a lot of trouble. That'll make things tough too. Fnatic Amogus on the top will get things done, and it is time for a third and final game to close out things here in DC. Callie Anderson and Sam Chapin are headed that way. Mono Green Devotion versus Red White Devotion. All the Nykthos action you can handle.
So Sam has taken a page out of the Sam Black playbook here, and there are 2 copies of Heliod's Pilgrim to enable 4 copies of Chain of the Rocks. Other than that, it's a pretty conventional Red Devotion strategy, although it has picked up Mardu Scout, which is a new addition for the deck.
Take a look at the sideboards here. We'll start with Anderson. 3 Reclamation Sage, 4 copy of, now that's a card we haven't seen, Whisperwood Elemental.
Okay.
A lot of talk about that one. Haven't seen any. 2 Hornet Nest, 4 Nihilus Disciple, and then 2 Nissa Worldwaker. I'm a little surprised that we haven't seen any of Whisperwood Elemental. A lot of people talking about the potential of that card, how good it can be in multiple spots, and we have seen 0 so far.
It's true, and I think that the 4 copies of Nihilus Disciple and the 2 copies of Hornet's Nest have certainly come in. We've seen both, and they make sense for the matchup. And I think the Elemental is legitimate as well.
What's on the other side there?
2 copies of Chandra Pyromaster, a Sarkhan the Dragon Speaker, 2 Ash Cloud Phoenix, 2 Arc Lightning, 3 Searing Blood, a Banishing Light, a Wingmate Rock, and End Hostilities, and a Heliod's Pilgrim. I like bringing in the Wingmate Rock here, as Mono Green Devotion does struggle with flyers. The End Hostilities is good here. I like Heliod's Pilgrim because Chain of the Rock's powerful against Mono Green Devotion. These additional removal spells and Arc Lightning and Searing Bloods I think are probably a little bit too narrow, but Callie does have some targets. And I like bringing in more flyers, 2 copies of Ash Cloud Phoenix and the Sarkhan.
Fair enough. Actually, I said we had 1 lone 9-0. I do apologize. I was incorrect. We actually have 2. The other one is Dan Musser, the Muss Man. We saw him a little earlier playing Abzan mid-range. He got the job done yet again. So it looks like to start off our day tomorrow, as far as the 9-0s are concerned, we'll have Abzan mid-range against Mono Red.
Okay.
It should make for an interesting matchup, to say the least. I'm happy to see Mono Red back.
Yeah, it's been a while, to say the least.
Yeah.
But week 1, I mean, we have not seen main deck Anger of the Gods or Drown in Sorrows anywhere this weekend.
It's just nice to have a deck that sometimes just keeps some things in check.
It's true.
I think that is nice and necessary.
Getting a little too fancy.
Yeah.
By the end of Standard, the format was still evolving, obviously, but people were getting pretty fancy. We saw a lot of 4-color Soul Theros decks and just can only take so much of that, you know?
Yeah, who do you think you are with your main deck Ugins? Get
Yeah.
that out of here.
Look at you, money bags, with all your rares. Get out of here.
Try to beat my Mardu Scout.
Right.
Anderson's going to keep. Sam will not. Going to head down to 6.
But gains between these two types of decks are almost always determined by Nykthos and doing something huge. So, from Callie's side of the table, she was able to set up a very large Naylia's Disciple. And that looks good against most mono red strategies. And we're talking about mono red beatdown. That Naylia's Disciple for 7 on top of the Coursers in play, that's going to be good enough to win the game. But the Red Devotion deck can easily overpower that. Gaining 7 life, 10 life, that's going to be good in some spots, but not all the time.
Oh, time to take a look at 6 cards here. Sam is happy enough. Game number 3 underway with just a forest here from Anderson. Chapin will draw. It's a mountain. Pass that turn back. Nykthos into Voyaging Satyr. A small combo there.
Oh, yeah.
Battlefield Forge land here for Sam. And looks like he's going to be taking a point of damage. To play a Chained to the Rocks.
And I love fighting over the mana. The Green Devotion deck does not do very much until it gets to 5, 6, 7 mana, so I think you're usually better served trying to attack the mana creatures than save the Chain of the Rocks for the big payout. Because whatever the big payout is, you may not be able to answer with Chain of the Rocks. If it's a big Planeswalker, if it's a big Genesis Hydra with whatever it triggers.
Hornet Queen?
Yeah, pin down the mana.
Wood of Foothill's going to search up a forest here for Anderson. And perhaps we will see a Courser here in just a moment. And we will. The top card. It's a copy of the Sylvan Caryatid. And it's time to pass the turn back over to Sam. Sam will draw. He'll play a Goblin Rabblemaster. Goblin token going to come in. Courser going to eat that. And we'll head back Anderson's way. The draw is Caryatid, as we know.
I was briefly worried that Sam thought the mountain was exiled.
I was hoping, yes.
Alongside the creature.
I was a little worried about that, as it is far off over there.
Sam's still tapping it, so we're good.
There's Caryatid. And just pass that turn back. Sam will draw. Ashcloud Phoenix. See a Banishing Light over there. Fanatic, Amogus, Perforos, and then Windscarred Crag.
I like a Banishing Light on that Corsair Crewfix this turn.
So does he. Banishing Light will take care of that. That means old Rabblemaster's headed to the red zone now once he gets a Goblin token. Goblin token will be blocked by Caryatid. 3 damage will come across. Anderson's going to go down to 16. As Hornet Nest is the draw. Doesn't get to take a look at the top card.
Although the nest is kind of charming against Rabblemaster. Gonna block a token, you know, you make a Hornet. Cash it in on the Rabblemaster when it gets too big.
Yeah.
You know, blow up the pinata, whatever.
Four mana. The Siege. It'll be Khan style. Green mana in the next main phase. There's a Voyaging Satyr. That's the setup turn.
Yep.
The big turn comes next.
Kylie's just got to cross her fingers and hope nothing too horrible happens this turn, because next turn is likely to be extremely good.
Well, Sam is tapping a bunch of mana. Here is Perforos. Perforos with Goblin Rabblemaster is a
combo.
That's a bit of a combo.
There's so many combos going on in this. I can't even keep track of all of them.
Red zone. Voyaging Satyr will eat a Goblin token. Bunch of damage to be dealt. Anderson made it out okay, but now she's got to do something tough. And she's at 9, and the combination of Goblin Rabblemaster plus Perforos looking to take over this game.
The issue is not just about stabilizing the board, it's turning around and killing quickly, because Perforos is likely to kill Callie if she doesn't win the game in as few turns as it possibly takes.
Now, Hornet Queen isn't a bad start. They're doing a nice job of stabilizing things. But there are cards that are available here for Sam, like Fanatic Amogus, to make it so that Hornet Queen being able to stabilize via creatures won't matter. Searing Blood, the draw. That's a good one.
That's a great draw.
There is Searing Blood. That means Anderson's going to take 3.
I think part of the motivation there for Sam is trying to ensure that Callie does not have the largest possible Nylea's Disciple last turn. Because I think he would have been, it's a little bit more efficient there to perhaps play, your Phoenix and kind of set up some devotion set up here. But I think that he wants to take the sting out of Nylea's Disciple in case it comes up.
Here come the Goblins. There are the blockers. Just has to pass the turn back, so Anderson will draw a card. It is a Forest. The Frontier Siege will provide 2 green mana. Gonna do a little bit of math about what can be deployed. There's Courser. Take a look at the top card. It's a Forest. That'll come in. Put her up to 5. Top card here for Courser in just a moment. That is a copy of Pelucranos. I think she can generate a lot of mana.
Yeah, I mean, she has the board in complete control.
Yeah.
It's just that too much damage has been dealt at this point, and I do not believe she can get Perforos off the table in her 75. And if Sam has any sort of follow-up, that's going to do it.
Hornet Queen's going to bring some more insects in. Passing of the turn. Sam does have a Fanatic. And you count the Devotion plus the Perforos trigger. And Callie will take a look at her hand, and that's going to do it. Sam Chapin's going to win this match here over Callie Anderson, 2-1. And for Sam, he'll certainly be into day 2 with a record of 7-2. For Anderson, we'll see if any X3s do make it, though you have to imagine she has pretty good tiebreakers of that group.
Well, and if you go back to Philadelphia and look, there was more players in that event, and X and 3 was good for the second day.
Yep.
So I would imagine the same thing will be true here. You never know for sure, but we'll have to wait to see how it shakes out.
Red-White Devotion. We're rewinding the tape back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, back in the early or middle of
2013 maybe? Yeah, it's been a little while.
Still using tapes at that point, as far as I know.
That might be true.
The idiom still fits.
Fair enough.
Perfect.
If you say so, I can't really argue with you.